Every Sunday at 5 p.m., Olivia sat on the same park bench. Rain, snow, sunshine, it didn't matter. She always showed up. Most people who walked through the park assumed she was feeding the birds or enjoying the view. They had no idea she was waiting for someone who was never coming back. 20 years earlier, that same bench had been the beginning of everything. Olivia was 22, Jake was 24. They met by accident when Jake spilled coffee all over his shirt while trying to impress her. She laughed, he laughed, and somehow that embarrassing moment became the first chapter of a beautiful love story. Over the next 5 years, they built a life together. Weekend road trips, late-night movies, cheap apartments, big dreams. Jake wasn't rich, Olivia wasn't famous, but they were happy. And sometimes happiness is the rarest thing in the world. One evening, sitting on that very bench, Jake took Olivia's hand. "If we ever get separated," he joked, "meet me here every Sunday at 5. Olivia smiled. "Separated? Why would that ever happen?" Jake squeezed her hand. "You never know." She rolled her eyes. "Fine, deal." Neither of them realized how important that promise would become. A year later, Jake received a job offer in another state. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. Better pay, better future, better everything. The plan was simple. Jake would move first, Olivia would follow a few months later. At least, that's what they thought. Long distance changed everything. Phone calls became shorter, schedules became busier, misunderstandings became more frequent. Both were lonely. Both were hurting. Neither knew how to say it. One night, after a painful argument, Olivia hung up the phone. She expected Jake to call back. He expected Olivia to call first. Neither did. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Pride built a wall neither of them knew how to climb. Then, life moved on. At least on the surface. Olivia focused on work. Jake buried himself in his career. Years passed. Both dated other people. Neither found what they had lost. Because some people leave fingerprints on your heart that time cannot erase. Then, one afternoon, 15 years later, Olivia received a message from an old friend. Jake had been diagnosed with cancer. Advanced cancer. The kind doctors couldn't fix. The news hit her like a train. For 15 years, she had imagined seeing him again. She pictured apologies, forgiveness, maybe even a second chance. Now, there might not be enough time. That Sunday, at exactly 5 p.m., she sat on the old bench. The same bench where they had made their promise. For the first time in years, she cried. Minutes passed. Then an hour. No Jake. No phone call. Nothing. She went home feeling foolish. The next morning, a letter arrived. It had been mailed weeks earlier. The handwriting instantly made her freeze. Jake. With shaking hands, she opened it. Inside was a single page. "Olivia, if you're reading this, it means I probably ran out of time. There's something I've carried for 15 years. I never stopped loving you, not for a single day. I wanted to call 1,000 times. I wanted to come back, but every year that passed made it harder. I convinced myself you had moved on. I convinced myself I had missed my chance. Funny, isn't it? Two people can love each other and still lose everything because neither is brave enough to pick up the phone. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me, but if you remember one thing, remember this. You were the greatest part of my life, and every Sunday at 5, I thought about that bench. Love always, Jake." Olivia couldn't breathe. Tears blurred the words. A small note had fallen from the envelope. It read, P.S. I went to the bench last Sunday. I waited for 2 hours. I guess we missed each other one last time. Olivia broke down. Not because Jake was gone, but because they had been so close. So unbelievably close. Yet separated by timing, by fear, by pride. That evening, she returned to the bench. The sun was setting. The park was quiet. She sat down and looked at the empty space beside her. For a moment, she imagined Jake there, smiling, laughing, holding her hand. And for the first time in 20 years, she whispered the words she should have said long ago. I never stopped loving you either. The wind moved gently through the trees, and somehow it felt like goodbye. And maybe, just maybe, it felt like he heard her.